Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second of 5 webinars we'll be hosting to tell everybody all about the exciting new enhancements and service announcements we will be rolling out over the next months of May and June. If you joined us for our our automation and controls webinar or attended at our user conference, you already know that these were announced at our annual user conference in Vegas last month. And today we'll be talking about awards, which will be rolling out Monday, and communications, which rolled out 2 Mondays ago. So just to be clear, we've rolled out automation, controls, communications, and awards will go live Monday. And I'm going to link to those blogs momentarily in case you haven't seen them. And you can also, I'll also link to the webinar for automation and controls if you want to review that as well. So my name's Leah Kelly. I am here with Elizabeth Sante and Justin Daniels. Elizabeth is going to lead the way here, but before she gets started, I just wanted to cover my usual couple things. Please know that the webinar will be recorded and sent to you afterwards. We're also going to link to it on the website. If you get interrupted for any reason, or if you'd like to review it later or share it with somebody else in your office, you can do all those things. We're going to send it to you. It will be delivered to your inbox within the next 24 hours. And also, you could submit your questions anytime throughout the presentation. You can do so using the text box under the question section in your GoToWebinar panel, and then we'll get to those questions at the end of the webinar. And that's it for me, Elizabeth, whenever you are ready.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We are going to go through the awards and the communications today. I'm going to talk a little bit about awards. I'm also going to talk about the new incoming calls, communications view, notification center, and then I'm going to demo these throughout. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We're going to keep the webinar pretty short, but we want to walk through awards. So with awards, the problem that we were trying to solve is we get questions all the time when products roll out, new products. We also hear a lot that people didn't know that new things are there. So with awards, we've set up a system so that you can earn awards for everything that you do within the system, and you'll be able to access any new products or any new enhancements that come into 10th Street. Awards can be navigated to show you things that you may have not seen. When I demo it, you'll see that you'll get green check marks for things that you've done, and for anything that's outstanding, it will be grayed out. So you know exactly what you've seen in the system and what you may be missing. As a primary user, you're also going to be able to see how your users are doing. There's going to be a focus widget that's available that's going to connect you to all of your users so that you're able to see how they're navigating through the system. So new awards are always going to be added as new products are developed. They're going to be added into the awards system. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the dashboard, and I'm going to demo for you how awards is used. So you can click on your name in the top, and then you can select the option of awards. It's going to open up a modal for you to see, and you'll see you've got 3 different categories. You've got dashboard usage, achievements, education, and then you can see all if you wanted to review them all. Dashboard usage are very small things in the system, like changing statuses, entering phone apps, tagging or applying tags, things along those lines. Where you can get into the good stuff is into achievements. You're going to see new products that become available. You're also going to be able to see if you're hiring drivers throughout the week, the month, and things along those lines. So each one of these, as you can see, if we've completed it, it's green. If we have not, it's grayed out. At the top of the screen, you can see your actual progress.
Okay, the screen needs to be, it looks like I'm getting some comments about they can just see the agenda screen right now. Just want to make sure that we're on the right screen.
Oh, it says that it's showing the main screen. Let's see.
Just reset ourselves real quickly here. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, whoever just saw the agenda screen, can you make sure that you now see the dashboard and the award summary?
So you should be seeing the award summary screen right now. Just want to verify that you can. That's what you're seeing.
Okay, it looks like it's showing.
Okay, good. Got confirmation. Okay, thank you guys so much for letting us know.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'll just show you here that you've got your dashboard usage, your achievements, education, and all. And then at the top of your screen, this is user specific for your company. So you've got your all-time points, You earn these points by completing these tasks below. You've got your weekly points and how many points you've earned in a day. There's 2 awards that you can receive. You can receive the Weekly Leader Award, and the Weekly Leader means that you won the most points for the previous week for your company. There's a lot of achievements that calculate over a weekend, so it's only 1 crown per company that's awarded for the previous week's work. The weekly progress down here gives you a real-time view of where you are in your standings. So you'll see the leader has the crown, and then if you are the leader, your blue bar will be completely full. If you're behind the leader, you'll see the leader's crown out here, and your blue bar would be back here, so you would know how far off you are from the leader. Each one of these tabs do expand, so when I click on changing a subject status, it tells me how many points it's valued at, the category for it, and how to earn those how to earn those reward points. Okay, and then up here in the top, again, you see that there's an Explorer Award. If you get the telescope, that means that you've seen everything in the system. And this will update as we add new functionality so that you'll know that there's something new to check out within the system. So with awards, we understand that it may not work for everyone, but you do have some controls as a primary user for awards. So you can go into your settings and you can go into Express Control. You'll see a control for awards. And within here, you can turn on or off awards completely. Or if you want to leave awards on, you have the ability to turn off the odometer, which is right here under your name. Or you can turn off the profile link, which means if you click on Bobby's name, this task here is what that would turn off for the users. So you have the abilities at a company level to turn on and off awards or to turn on and off the odometer or the profile link. And the odometer is in real time. So I'm just going to go over to my work list here, and I'm going to show you that as soon as I change a status, you'll see that the odometer will roll, and it just keeps tallying those points. Now for reports, I'm going to go over to my home page, and in my focus widget, I can scroll down and I can see the awards monitor. And what the awards monitor does is it gives you a view of all of your users. You can see the achievements that they've earned. You can see the achievement progress, how many dashboard actions, and the event progress, and how many points the user has. You can actually click on that user, and it will show you when the points were earned through the week, so you can see a chart. You can also scroll down to see the awards that they've earned. So that's a really neat feature for reporting based on the awards that your users have. Okay, so I'm going to roll over to our next item. Our next item is the Calls View widget. So with the Calls View widget, if you have an integration with a call monitoring, or you want to make an integration with your call system, we're always interested in doing this, so you can reach out to us. But what the incoming calls and the Calls View does is it gives you a real-time access to all of the drivers that have called you within the time frame that you decide. So you can see at the top you've got 30 days, 7 days, 24 hours. And what you'll see is you'll see all of the drivers that have called in. If they have matched to a subject within the system, you can click on that person and it will open the Intella app. So right there you get to Carol. So if a driver's calling you, it usually is a great sign, and they want to jump to the top of your priority list. So this tool makes it easier and makes it more visible of a way to get to those drivers that are in contact with you. So here on this widget, you'll see you have the access to see mine and all. Any user that's not a primary will only have access to their specific drivers. So that's saying that a phone call was received, it matched a specific driver within the system, then it's going to show in their mine. If they have all, which is only a primary user, but the primary user has access to grant other users to see all, it would show them a view just like these guys here where it's all. And when you click on them, you'll see it opens up a phone app, and then you have the ability to start a phone app, populating in the information that we have, phone number, city, state, and things along those lines. So if you're a primary user, you'll have this button that says Grant Users Access. You can also get to the Call View access from your Express Control. You can say, I want to make sure that Elizabeth, Natalie, and Sally have access to see all. And right there, you've granted those users the ability to see all, so they can see just their specific, or they can see all of the drivers that have called in. If you click here for Carol, it's got a little notes view. So this is edit phone call. This is a new feature that you can log an outbound phone call in the system. So you've always been able to enter in notes, but now you can actually enter this in as a phone call. And you can, we're going to type that we left a message, and we're going to add the note, and this note will actually add to Carol in her subject view. When you click on notes, you'll now see it with a little phone next to it, so it lets you know that it was a returned call. So what you have the ability to do now is you have the ability to see when Carol called in, and then you have the ability to see when a returned phone call was also logged for Carol. Okay. So this, we have 3 people that we have integrations with today. It's CallSource, Marchex, and Conversa. But if you use anything else that for your call tracking, just let us know. Reach out to us, and we're happy to have those phone conversations with you guys to see if we can integrate so that the call information can come within the system. Okay. So we're going to go over to our work list. The next thing we're going to talk about is our communications view. So with the communications view, you're going to be able to see all of the communications that have happened with your driver. So the communications view has always been there. We just gave it a little facelift. So I'm going to go to communications view, and I'm going to scroll below the big white box, and you'll see now it works much like a phone. So it gives you a timeline of events, so it gives you a little better context of what's going on. It works like messaging on your phone, so you can scroll all the way down, and you see you have your quick messages, and then you have a place where you can type your messages and send that via text or pulse. What you can do now is you can see everything that's gone on besides manual emails that have gone out to the driver from your Outlook or returned emails from that driver. But you have options where you can say, I want to see these specific types of events. I want to see drip messages. I want to see messages, pulse and text. I want to see phone calls, lead apps, and then also documents. And so I'm going to save these as my default, and then every driver or every applicant that I go to from there is going to show me this timeline for this driver. So I'm going to scroll down, and then you can see that the application was updated. We sent some messages back and forth, left a voicemail, they uploaded a CDL. You can see all of the stuff in a timeline and have a better idea of what's going on. So this is a combo of tools that you get a complete view and interaction with those drivers. And so this is also live and available for everyone in the system. Another new thing that we have is up here you see our card is flipping around, and it's telling us that we have one new Intella app now. So this is a new feature that is kind of like a while you were out post-it note for you. So as we increase the automation for more things are going to happen without the user in kind of processing it or sending it out. So what we've done is we've created this so you can stay on top of things that are returning, and so we've created this notification center for you. And in here you've got a real-time view so that you can stay on top of things and respond quicker. You've got notifications, messages, uploaded documents, recent apps, recent calls if you have the calls view, and Intella app now if you're using that. And you can click on these and they'll expand and they'll give you any information that has returned back. You can click on that and it will take you directly to that driver in the system. So in the past, there's been a bell up there in the top, and this is an expansion of the bell that's evolving the notification center, and it's taking its place. So everyone should have access to the notification center, and again, it's to help you stay on top of those notifications as they come in. So what was it, 2 weeks ago we did the webinar on
controls and automation.
And so during that webinar, we talked a little bit, and there was a lot of questions about contacting current employers through the automation. And so I wanted to make sure, because this goes live on Monday, that everyone has gone out to their Exchange control and clicked on automation. And what you're going to see now is when you scroll down, there's some additional options for you. So when you're looking at your available statuses, when to send the request out, it also says auto requesting most recent employer setting. You have 2 options here. You have a never auto request most recent employer, and auto request when the applicant allows. So I'm going to explain these a little bit more so that everybody has a good idea of what it means. When it says never auto request most recent employer, that means if my first employer in the process subject view or process exchange view is ABC Trucking, and I select to never request that, the automation will not send a request out for that most recent employer listed. If ABC Trucking is listed multiple times, it also will not send the request for ABC Trucking for any time period. The other option, to auto request when allowed by applicant, means that it's looking at the do not contact flag only. So if your applicant goes out and fills out an application and they say do not contact employer, it will not send a request for that most recent employer if it's marked as do not contact. Okay, so that's one thing that we had a lot of requests for. I just wanted to make sure that it was covered and that you knew it was there. These controls are available for you to go out and make adjustments to as needed. Okay, that's kind of a little run through of what's to come and what has come within the last couple of weeks. Leah, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have a few. So on the reporting, back to awards, that report summary kind of thing that you showed, there's a question about if it can be printed or shared or emailed. Is there any way to do that? Go back.
Well, this is a widget, so it's not technically
the awards monitor, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's not an actual report. It's a widget. I don't think it could be emailed or printed. But if you need it to be something along those lines, you can reach out to us and let's talk about kind of what you're looking for. Or we'll reach out to you and we can kind of talk through kind of what problem you're trying to solve with that.
Okay, thank you for the question. And on the call widget, can you download all the calls into an Excel spreadsheet? So kind of along the same line, similar question there.
We can build a report for that, but again, not from the widget.
Okay. So where do the phone calls come from? How are they getting logged? How does this work?
So this is an integration with your call tracking provider. So if you use one of the three people that we had mentioned, those integrations are built today. And they're going to post over the call data to us. So as you're receiving phone calls, it posts the call data over and we display it in the system. If you don't have an integration with one of those three providers for call monitoring, we would like to talk to you about it. If you'd like to use it, we can talk with your phone call provider to see if they can post it over to us, because we have a couple of options for that. So that information is all through an integration.
So if you do use call monitoring, go ahead and you're interested in this, go ahead and contact your account manager and they can help you get things set up.
Yeah, I will say on the call monitoring thing for the integration side of it is often these are pretty easy for us to pull in. So if you have a third party provider that's already delivering for you, or even just a vendor maybe, those are fairly easy for us to pull in. I mean, for example, we're looking at if you don't know the name Marchex, Conversa, and CallSource right off the top of your head, you probably have heard of Vonage, and that's one we're also looking into an integration with right now. So just at a Vonage type level for phones. So that's the kinds of things that we can bring in through the integration, and you would have that call data. It just does take a couple of calls with tech people, unfortunately, to kind of make sure we get the right one.
Okay, so again, we had a few questions about who the three were, and Justin just said them right as those questions kind of came in. So they were Marchex, CallSource, and Conversa.
And just to stress it again, I mean, if you use someone else, please reach out to us and let us know. We are happy to have those conversations for sure.
Okay. A couple questions about, so, you're not going to be able to see the odometer that you see here on Elizabeth's screen because that's the awards thing and that goes live on Monday. I know that's kind of confusing because partly the notifications and all the communications things that she went through, the widget and the notifications, those are all live. You should be able to see those today. The awards thing you will not see until Monday. And
Along with the awards there too, when you guys get started on those, you're not going to be starting from the points of zero. You're going to be starting. We've been calculating points since I think mid-January. So don't be surprised if you start a couple thousand in and you only gain 50 or 100 points a day. That's to be expected.
Okay, and can you show us again how to turn on the automatic processing, or where you don't contact the current employer? That's what she's wanting to look at.
So for that, if you go to your name and click on your name in settings, in the settings you'll want to go to exchange control and then select automation. And I can go through this just kind of as a little refresher because it's going to go live on Monday. So you've got your auto requesting, or it's going to go live next week, I apologize. You've got your auto requesting, and just as a little refresher, always network, fax, and email will go out automatically if you turn it on. You have a couple of placeholder options, so everybody knows, like phone, fax, mail, things along those lines. What it will do is it won't actually complete those for you, but it will automatically create that placeholder in the system. So if you have a driver that a verification needs to be done by phone, you would still need to call and complete that verification, but this would automatically create that placeholder in the system for you. Your next option is to select when the auto requests are created. So you'll have a list of available status, and then you'll have a list of the active status. The active status means that once the driver is changed into those status, it will automatically start to send your exchange request out for you. Right below that is the auto requesting for the most recent employer setting. So this is new, and this gives you those two options that we went through. So never auto request for the most recent employer, or auto request when it's allowed by the applicant. Those are your two options in there. And below that, you've got a couple of other options where you can say, I want to auto request 3 years for DOT, and I always want to make sure it's employment, drug and alcohol, and accident. And then for non-DOT, I want to go back 10 years. And these are drop downs, so you can select the years, and you can say, I only want to do employment for any non-DOT employer. And then below that is our resends. So resends are going. You'll have the option to set how many resend times you want to do, whether you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or if the request is under 30 days old, or if the subject has not been moved into one of these disqualifying status. Any of those three options will stop the resends from going out once the requests have hit any of those three items. So that's just a little walkthrough. So the resends are live, and the auto requesting will go live next week. So check your controls and make sure they're set up appropriate. We did put some statuses in your active status, but of course, please go double check it and make sure that it's set to your preferences.
Okay, and what is the frequency that auto resends are sent, and can it be adjusted?
We're putting in a control for that right now, so I apologize we didn't have that to launch with. There was a technical reason why we ended up walking that back a half step, but I think by Monday or Tuesday we're going to have a selection, and the selection will be at company level. And largely that was because we can't have user level decisions being made on how far out that goes, because as you did in the past with like next action dates, because once a system user sends the request for you, it's not always the logic before was always tied to who was the person that actually did it. Well, now it's not a person, it's the system. So it needs a system level, company level preference. So it was a little bit of a wrinkle in logic that we're going to be adding real quickly. You'll see that on that same screen. It'll just be another selection. Yeah, right. Scroll down. It'll be right in where Elizabeth is showing it right now. We'll have another selection. Today it's 24 hours for the resends, and then you'll be able to push that out.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and so one more. When you change the applicant over to a hired status, can you send the verification for the current to send out automatically? Like if you have that setting set where it says do not contact or never contact the current, once they change to a hired, there's nothing in place today, but
there is nothing in place today. So today, if you use the do not contact current or never request for the current, when you're ready to make that, you would manually go in and use go to process exchange and request that employment. There's been some changes in there to make it a little easier, of course. So you guys should see, we covered it in the last meeting about the update kind of refresh to exchange. to the actual view, but today you would have to go in and actually request that when you're ready to make that request.
It's a good idea for an enhancement, though, and a possible enhancement in the future. And I think that's it. I think we've wrapped it up. I don't see any more questions coming in, but I do want to thank everybody for your time. I know you guys are really busy, so we really appreciate you joining us. If you want to review this webinar, you'll receive a copy in your email in about 24 hours, as well as it'll be attached to the blog that goes out Monday that will explain, in writing, kind of pretty much what Elizabeth went over today about awards. So you can access it either way. And I think that's it. You guys, thanks Elizabeth and Justin so much for your time. You guys did a great job.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah. Have a good afternoon. Have a great weekend. Bye.